The following announcement is paid for by the Wrestling with Nerds.
From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
The name's Nukem, Duke Nukem, and you're watching the Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast. I don't know why, but you are.
This honky tonk man, greatest intercontinental champion of all time, and you're watching Wrestling with Nerds podcast. Yes, that's my favorite. Shake, rattle, and roll.
What's going on, wrestling nerds, and welcome to the immediate reactions to night one of WrestleMania 41. Holy cow. What's up, guys?
What's up?
What's going on?
What an eventful night one we had, and it started off with Jey Uso defeating Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. Ryan, I'll send this to you first. What were your overall thoughts of the match?
I had said multiple times coming in that I wasn't really sure about this, but I thoroughly enjoyed this match. It wasn't what I was expecting match wise, but it makes sense. We had this conversation. He beat the bully with the bully's own moves and used the bully's moves against him, kind of like the first thing that popped in my head was like Eminem and 8 Mile using Papa everything Papa Dot was going to use against him. He went ahead and did it, and there was nothing left. I thought it was a good match. I will admit I was completely blindsided and didn't think it was going to be a good match, but it was a good match.
Mike?
It was. I'm going to debate this now because it was solid. It wasn't my all-time favorite match of night one, but I know at the beginning when that first happened, I wasn't very happy with the winner, and my reasoning's not as good as what Ryan is. But the more Ryan talks about it, I can see why they did it.
I mean, Jey moves the needle. Jey moves the needle better than Gunther moves the needle as world champion. If that makes sense.
It does.
He gets people's attention. Whether his matches are horrible, they're all going to yeet for 15 minutes in the arena every single night on TV. He could be sucking wind in whatever. Who cares? But they're going to yeet. Now they're going to yeet with the world title. So I think that we're going to get a draft. Usually we get a draft here after Mania anyway. I could definitely see some titles being changed around and possibly some people moving shows, and you never know. That world title could end up on SmackDown, and hopefully Cody with the WWE title comes back over to Raw with Netflix, and we're off to the races. There's not a lot of heel opponents for Jey on Raw, unless you're gonna feed him the Judgment Day again, which is just a rinse and recycle that we've already went through.
Yeah.
So there's not enough heels on Raw to feed Jey.
What
I
if
don't
you turn Braun?
I don't think that'll work because people are so enamored with Braun that you can't turn him heel.
Okay.
And I don't think they're gonna pull the trigger on that this quick. I would have thought more of that, and I've said that more if Gunther was the world champion after Mania, then a Braun feud would probably be next in line. I I mean, now that we'll get to something a little bit later. Now that I'm thinking about it, there is a heel now on Raw that could face Jay, and it would be a completely new type deal going on. And do I see Jay being a long-term champion? No. Do I see him doing the Damian run where he loses it at SummerSlam? Probably. Most likely.
I just wish that Gunther stayed in it for like 30 to 45 more seconds before he tapped.
Yeah, I Gunther sometimes reminds me so much of Alberto Del Rio, and it's why I'm not an Alberto Del Rio fan. When I could tell you by the way Alberto came to the ring whether he was winning or losing,
Yeah,
because he
absolutely.
would get all poo-poo faced. And that's like that Gunther kind of was him tapping so quick to me kind of felt like that. It may not have been his reasoning for it, but that's what it felt like to me. I agree. It should have lasted a solid minute longer in the sleeper hold to make it work, and it just kind of seemed like he hurried up and tapped and got out of it. So I do agree with you on that one.
I agree with you, Ryan, that Jay moves the needle, and that he can take that belt where Gunther couldn't. While Gunther was a dominant champion, I don't like either one of them. But if I had to pick, I guess it would be Jay. If you go by your reasoning, who are you thinking? Are you thinking Seth?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well,
I could see that. I could definitely see that, to be honest.
yeah. Honestly, what are you gonna do with them now that that's happened? Are you gonna Is that over and done with? Do you think between Roman and Punk, or do you think we're gonna have some residual stuff because of Paul Heyman being involved now, even further?
It depends. Are we gonna get Roman around for a little bit, or is he gonna be going away again until SummerSlam? Like, is that gonna be his thing till his contract's up, where he only shows up at the big pay-per-views?
And that's a good point because
If
we
we
don't
get
know.
Roman back on a permanent basis for this last year and a half or 2 years of his deal, where he's pretty consistent, then great, because otherwise, I don't care. You
Look,
lost your wise man because you're not around, in my opinion.
that match went 16 minutes and 30 seconds. Um, Not my
Is that
favorite on the
all?
card. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So it
Um,
was 16 minutes of wrestling and 16 minutes of entrance.
Yep.
It's WrestleMania. Everybody wants the pop in circumstance. I'm going to say this now, and I said this to you there at the end. There was not a bad match on this card one
None.
bit. If you sit and watch the actual matches, there was not a bad match on this card. The audience, the crowd in Las Vegas sucked. They
Mhm.
were horrible. They sat on their hands and didn't do anything. And I think that's a prime example of putting WrestleMania in a tourist town. That was the whole reason that they're this weekend in Las Vegas, is because Las Vegas wanted something that was going to buzz Easter weekend for them, because Easter weekend is normally a down weekend for Las Vegas. And everybody was sitting on their hands.
The only time people got hot were to some of the entrances. That's it.
I, yeah,
Yeah.
and it's just I
But
don't I don't care for. I like the outside WrestleManias. Like, I loved last year for us in Philadelphia where it's outside.
and
But there's something
I didn't.
about
Way too cold. Way too cold.
an indoor arena on the West Coast where it's still daylight ruins it for me. And I don't know, I couldn't tell you why. like you could tell that they dimmed the lights down for the matches because as soon as the matches were all over with, they lit the arena back up, and it was
Yeah.
like, hey, I kind of like that view better than I did with whatever you were doing with the lighting.
Do you think it's because it's still daylight and everybody's like, why are we going to a wrestling show at 4 o'clock in the afternoon?
I mean, it takes some of the ominence away from entrances when it's supposed to be like dark, and
Hmm.
it's kind of like the years of WrestleMania where Taker went on early and it was daylight, and it's like, well, what's the point of turning the lights off in the arena when the sun sign's still up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's jump to the second match. The New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods defeating the War Raiders, Eric and Ivar, only going 9 minutes and 15 seconds. And these guys freaking killed each other.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
actually Ivar at the
It's-
beginning.
It's funny you keep saying the times that I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, dude, that match seemed way longer than 9 minutes.
It's because they did so much in 9 minutes.
Yeah, it's almost like everything was in fast forward tonight.
Mm-hmm.
The night did go by pretty fast.
It
Yeah,
did.
it's like I don't really understand why, but it was solid. I mean, these are two veteran tag teams. They know what they're gonna do when they go out to the ring. This isn't one that needed to be overly rehearsed. Um, the War Raiders have been around long enough. New Day's been around long enough. They know what they're gonna do. I think most of us pretty much had New Day pegged to win the titles back.
Yep.
I know some people
Mhm.
were upset of, I don't even understand why this match is a WrestleMania card match. Well, there's some major reasons. New Day just won the 13th tag title. That puts you in a main event. That puts you in a WrestleMania match, no matter if you were facing Doink and Dink. For all I care, if you're New Day winning the 13th tag title, you're on
Or
the
Tom and
WrestleMania
Nick.
card. I thought it was a solid match. I think Xavier got hurt on
Yeah,
the spot when he was on his hands and knees where they tried to do the poetry in motion, and then Ivar squashed him. It kind of seemed like he pulled his groin
Mm-hmm.
after that, because when he tried to run up the aisleway after winning the belts, he was like, "Oh, wait a minute, I can't run."
yeah, he was
So
grabbing his right quad the way up
Yeah,
the
he
ramp.
was. Yep.
yeah, so I would say it's probably more a groin or a could be a hamstring pull, but I would say probably it's more of a groin strain.
Let's just hope it's a strain and a pull and
Yeah.
not any tear.
But
Uh-huh.
I mean, a solid singles tag team match.
Dude, it was freaking nuts. It was
Um,
awesome. It was so high octane.
that both teams played to the Clash of Titans or Clan of Titans game, that
Mhm.
thing. Ivar and them coming out in the war gear, cartoony war gear, was kind of funny.
Alrighta.
It was good, and I think I know where they're headed with the New Day with the tag titles. I'll just wait to see if that's what's going to happen now, with some changing around. We're talking WrestleMania review, but the one thing we should have probably started off with is WWE just got a lot bigger today.
Yes. Well, we could put it right here.
Okay.
If you guys checked our Facebook social media, once we heard it, we posted it. WWE has acquired the Mexican promotion AAA.
Yeah, that's a huge deal in the ramifications of what Hunter and Tony Khan, or yeah, Tony Khan, Nick Khan want the WWE to be.
Thanks,
They already
Tony.
have a working relationship with Noah, their Japan Noah. They're already working with other organizations. There's been rumors that AAA was kind of in dire straits for a while, and AEW's tinkered around with them, and nothing really ever came of it. And then like JBL's been down there a couple times, and some TNA guys have been down there. And for them to go down there and purchase AAA, which is it's like 1A and 1B of Lucha Libre wrestling. There's CMLL and there's AAA. AAA wasn't around, hasn't been around that long. They were created in 1992 as a separate entity from CMLL because politics. Conan is the booker down there. K-Dog, the Wolfpack, he is the booker down there. He's been a part of AAA since its existence. I was looking at to see who their champions were because I knew there was a lot of interaction with like Jeff Jarrett and stuff in the recent months. And their champion, which is their mega champion, is Alberto Del Rio. So we should see how that works.
Yeah, boy.
But WWE just got a lot bigger. They announced a Worlds Collide pay-per-view or a show with NXT, WWE, and AAA. Going to be out in California. I think they said it was supposed to be May or June.
June 9th?
Yeah. So
June 9th, yeah.
that shall be interesting to see. I think you're going to see a lot of the WWE guys that people always, oh, well, they re-signed them and they're not doing anything with them because they're supposed to sign them and it's they sign them instantly and make them go straight to the top. Somebody like Andrade, somebody like Cruz del Toro and all those guys, I could see them going and being on that show and being fun. So huge news this weekend coming out of WWE. I hadn't seen any reports of it until it was actually announced, which is even cooler because they were able to kind of keep it to the vest.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was a thing.
So that's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. Hopefully that means they get the AAA library. And that means they'll dub over it with English commentating. And some of the matches in Japan are just outrageous. They like wrestling with like the 6-sided ring. And they like luchadors that look like clowns. So
that
shall be interesting. But what was your guys' thought on this tag match?
I already said my 2 cents.
It was really good. I enjoyed it. It was very hard hitting, and I like what they did in about 9 minutes that you said. I didn't think that was 9 minutes. I thought it was like 15 or something. It was very good.
I think the one thing that was missing out of this WrestleMania that people just, to some people made it feel like it wasn't a WrestleMania, is there was no extracurricular activity. It was match, highlights for the next match, highlights for the next match. It wasn't any. Yeah, they zoomed around and saw all the celebrities sitting around ringside, but we didn't get any corny concerts.
Thank God.
If I hear Fiend one more time after Sunday, I'm just gonna.
Pretty sure you're gonna hear it. Actually, you don't have to watch Raw live.
I'm gonna cactus jack myself. That's for sure.
Because Monday we're gonna have to do Last of Us.
Yeah. So.
Well, you'll probably still hear it on Friday because they'll when they do their packages on Friday, they'll probably have it.
Yeah. So.
All right. So
what was up next?
Match number 3, the very much probably the underrated match of the night. Jade Cargill versus Naomi, going 9 minutes and 20 seconds.
9 minutes is it's everything's gone 9 minutes, and it's true. Everything felt more like 15. I don't know why.
This I thought was going to be my pee match.
I mean, there was a couple of times where I peed myself. These girls put in the work.
This was such a fun match.
The work.
Yeah, it was a very good match.
Going into this, we were gonna get botches and just terrible spots. And we didn't, and it was really, really good.
These girls killed each other, not just in the ring, outside of the ring. There were a couple moments where I thought Jade and Naomi were dead on the floor.
I mean, to catch a human being in like free form, that shit's impressive. Sorry.
To catch the dive and put it into a suplex.
To catch, I'm sitting there with you guys and I'm just watching the match, like not really. I'm like, this is a good match. This is that we need to start going home. And then the next thing I know, Jade catches Naomi in a suplex, and I like come out of my chair like, what the?
You were like that the whole match.
I
You were
didn't like.
popping the whole match.
I never saw like somebody like Cesaro or somebody like that do that spot. Granted, somebody will say, "Oh, I saw that spot back in whatever." I don't care. To see the two girls do it is amazing, in my opinion. And from there, they just turned it up. Now, granted, the one thing that was bugging me for the match, for the most part, was fix your wardrobe. Every damn time they did a spot, one of them had to yank up their wardrobe because Jade's bodysuit had her pasty showing, or Naomi's boobs were ready to fall out of her top. I guess that's why they had caution tape on them all the time. But the match was solid, and the finish was amazing. That power bomb spot from Jade, awesome. And then she hits Jaded and gets the 1-2-3,
Mm-hmm.
licks her finger on the way down, which I really hate that because when you play 2K25, that's the pin motion for that move, whether they kick out or not. So, like, if they kick out, you're still licking your finger, and it's, like, really weird.
Thought it'd be something you'd be into. Got it. Cool.
We don't kink shame around here.
Don't kink shame me. Match number 4. Jacob Fatu defeating LA Knight for the WWE United States Championship. 9 minutes and 40. I'm kidding. 10 minutes and 40 seconds.
Shout out to Fatu. That man's a beast. That was very impressive. I was very impressed with it. That whole match.
He was the second scariest person in that arena last night this afternoon for what Ryan told me.
Shout out to him. Great job. Bigger shout out to LA Knight. LA Knight made this match.
Yes.
He worked his ass off for this match. He made Jacob look strong when Jacob needed to be strong, and he made himself stand out and in my opinion, not town biased. He made himself stand out with even by losing tonight over Jacob.
Absolutely, and Jacob looked phenomenal.
Yes. The question now becomes is how reliable can Jacob be as the U.S. champion? That there's been that people start making no show in and all that kind of stuff. I told you I think that they're headed towards Jacob and Solo for the U.S. title is probably where they're headed, and I really, really hope that LA Knight's headed to Raw on the draft. I think he needs to get off of SmackDown, and I think he needs to go to Raw. I think a story with him and Braun, or him and Dom as the Intercontinental Champion could be fun. So we'll see. But I think it's time for LA to make that jump to Raw and possibly get a bigger run than what he's already gotten.
How about that BFT though that he did? That was impressive. My goodness.
Yeah, the big spots tonight were impressive, but they were just a little off. I don't want to be a Dave Meltzer about it, but like it was kind of off. It was literally just a face bump. It was a flat face bump that basically looked like a BFT.
Yeah.
They were kind of off of each other. I think later on Charlotte and Tiffany try something where she tries to do natural selection and she's just a little off, but it still looked good. It still was effective.
You want to know what looked really good with a weird looking cutter? Was Sol Ruka in that ladder match.
I thought we were going to get a kiss on top of the ladder, and then we didn't.
So did I. I was so upset. I was literally...
You're talking about an NXT. At Stand and Deliver, absolutely 110% delivered. I was telling you guys a couple of minutes ago when we were talking before we started. You look at all the matches we had today. We had, 7 WrestleMania matches? Right?
Yep.
7 WrestleMania matches and 7 Stand and Deliver matches. We had 14 B+ average matches all day long.
Oh, on average, yes.
I can't
I'd
think
go higher
of
than
them.
that.
I can't think of a match that I would score under a B all day long. Any of them, even the match on NXT with the D'Angelo family and the Dark State, as new as that whole thing was, the huge swerve and the turn at the end was
Well,
still good.
Stacks.
Oba and Javon and Trick were amazing. The women fatal 4-way match might have been my favorite match of the whole day until WrestleMania started.
The women's ladder match is my favorite of the day.
I thought those 4 girls in that NXT women's match gave everything they absolutely had. And at any point, any of the 4 of them could have won, and I would have been absolutely happy. At one point, I found myself pulling for Jada Parker to win, and I would have been perfectly fine with it.
Yeah.
Um,
That would have been cool.
yeah. The one that I think the one match of the NXT show that shocked me finish wise was the fatal 4-way women's elimination match for the number 1 contender to the tag titles.
Well, you had Roxanne walk out on Cora Jade.
Well, I kind of thought that was going to happen because it's kind of been there already. Like, they're friends, but they're more like frenemies
Uh-huh.
because they always keep turning on each other. But when it came down to Gigi and Paxton versus Fallon and JC, I'm like, oh, JC and Fallon got this easily. But I don't know what that submission move was that Gigi and Paxton put on, but I want to be put in it.
Freaking.
I don't know if that's PG.
I think
Corey
it's more
Graves
for
on commentary almost killed me.
I think it's for I just want to know for research purposes more than anything else.
Corey said, "I need to try that."
Yeah, it's like,
Hey,
but
Carmella.
I love it. I loved Stand and Deliver. Raw. There's not one thing of WrestleMania that I was missing.
Very happy for Hank and Tank.
It's time. It was time for Fraxium to lose the tag titles.
Yes.
It was getting kind of old pretty quick. The Avenger, the Power Ranger, and Nightwing needed to lose the titles.
Shall we go back to WrestleMania Night 1?
Yeah, we can go back to the more important show.
El Grande Americano defeating Ray Phoenix.
I feel like now that they have purchased AAA, we're gonna see El Grande Americana in AAA, and the stuff that they're gonna do with that is gonna be hilarious. I feel like they just basically said, "This is the match we already have planned. We're just swapping out the old Ray for the new Ray. Nothing's gonna change." I mean, everybody was like, "Oh my God, Ray Phoenix's first loss is to Chad Gable in a mask." Okay. Ray Phoenix isn't anything special that he needs to be undefeated for a while. His brother's already lost a match. Why can't Ray Phoenix lose a match?
Yeah.
So,
Not gonna lie, I used this match to step out, so I only saw like the last 2 minutes of it. So
I did too, for the most part. I think I got back for like the last 5-6 minutes of it.
Well, it was only 7. So.
Oh, see, remember the whole time thing. But it was what it was. But it was good. It was still good.
It just shows how good Chad Gable is, and how
big American.
Well, no, how he adapts to other forms of wrestling, not just.
If he was 6 inches taller, he would be Kurt Angle in this era. That's how good Chad Gable is in the ring. If he was 6 inches taller, he would be competing for a world title.
Yeah.
So it's my I can't see anybody that could not see that. Wait a minute. I could see somebody like that is against it, but his opinions don't matter.
That's a shot.
We talking about the doofus father-in-law?
No, we're talking about the moron that was.
Oh, Tubby McFatfuck. Got it.
The northern version.
Oh,
non
that
non non
Come on,
Canadian
AJ.
version.
okay. We have a lot of tubbies. So sorry.
The non-Canadian version that narrows it down.
Yeah. The sixth match of the night, probably my opinion, best match of the night. Tiffany Stratton defeating Charlotte Flair for the WWE Women's Champion.
I don't disagree with you one bit, and I told you going into this
Yeah,
match.
I hate you. I was literally
I
saying
told
I hate
you
through
going
this whole
into
match.
this match that this would be the best match of night one. If Tiffany listened to Charlotte, and she did. I don't care what anybody else says. This was Tiffany Stratton's best match on the main roster, if not at all time. Granted, it's only been a couple of years. This was
She's
her
only been on the
best
main
match.
roster for a year.
I mean, including NXT in it.
Oh, okay.
This was her best match. There was no mega high spots needed in this match. Everybody knew that the way they were playing this out was it was going to be ultra personal, and it was.
Mm-hmm.
These two girls beat the hell out of each other. And
Literally.
Charlotte made Tiffany look like $1,000,000. Actually, she made her look like $1,000,000 until she broke her tooth, and now
Yup.
she looks like a whore. Now she looks like ghetto whore Barbie. Anyhow, and none of us realized that Tiffany had got a tooth at least chipped or cracked until the match was over, and everybody's like,
When did that happen?
her mouth looks all messed up. What happened?
Yep.
So this match, 19 minutes and 5 seconds.
I was
Now
good with
this
that.
match felt like it went 19
Yes.
minutes and 5 seconds.
But
Yes,
that's
it
not,
did.
But that's not a bad thing. I
No.
don't.
No. But you could tell that these two girls were exhausted at the end of this match
Mm-hmm.
because they went to work.
And it's. I don't want to say they all got their shit in, because I know how a lot of marks and other people say get your shit in, but there were moments where it went back and forth to the point where the match could end at any time, and it just kept going, and the intensity between both women just kept going and going until Tiffy just, holy crap, hits the most perfect moonsault I've ever. I don't know. Kurt Angle's was pretty good. No, we'll go with Tiffy's, and just gets the pin and wins.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You two know that I'm a very big Charlotte Flair fan. I think she is. There's two female wrestlers right now that are the best of the best. Charlotte and Rhea. They are. No matter what anybody can say, they are the two top female wrestlers. I'll say WWE because I don't watch enough of the arena one. I know there's a black and white chick
fumbled.
that. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
But anyhow, tell me a WrestleMania match that Charlotte wasn't in where she made whoever she was facing better after. So I know she gets a lot of flack for being the Nepo baby and always getting the titles and all that kind of stuff. But tell me a WrestleMania match that Charlotte Flair was in that the person she fought wasn't better after.
Can I say Sasha Banks?
When was that match?
Wasn't that like one of the first ones that they did with the Women's Revolution in like 32, 31?
Yeah, but that was a fatal 4-way, and Becky was in it, and Bayley was in it.
Yeah, but Becky and Bayley both improved. Sasha.
That's what I'm saying. In the match with Charlotte, Charlotte got the win that night, and they were both all pretty relevant low ones. But think about it. Just the three that pop off the top of my head. Correct me if I'm wrong. Charlotte versus Becky versus Ronda. Becky got a lot better after that WrestleMania match.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte versus Rhea. Charlotte made Rhea at WrestleMania 39.
Oh, absolutely.
I agree.
Oh, yeah, but that happened in the Performance Center too.
No.
No.
Yes,
Oh,
it did.
that's right.
but that was NXT Rhea.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but it's there was still a holy shit.
Oh yeah, Charlotte and Rhea the first time is what got Rhea to the main roster.
Thank you. That's kind of where I was going with
Okay,
that.
I understand what you're saying now. Yes, Charlotte and Rhea at COVID Mania got Rhea to the main roster. Charlotte and Rhea at WrestleMania 39 put Rhea at that same level of Charlotte.
Yeah.
Tonight, Tiffany was made by Charlotte in that match. She established herself as the WWE Women's Champion tonight against Charlotte. And now there's not a doubt in my mind on who they put against her that I have to think, is this going to be the time where she drops the title? She's got to drop the title. She's just hanging on to it. No, Tiffany is now on that high level. And it'll be fun to see where they go with this, because I don't think this feud's over with.
Oh no, I don't know, but they did have a moment at the end of the match that kind of was caught on camera, but wasn't supposed to be.
But let me ask you this: would you want to see more of Charlotte versus Tiffany?
Maybe at like SummerSlam or something, like at a big pay-per-view type of thing.
I was thoroughly impressed with this match, and I love it when I'm right.
Shut up, Meg.
Speaking of, I love it when I'm right.
Well, I was gonna say, before we go to the main event, do we want to reference that Bailey is not going to be wrestling tomorrow, since we're kind of still talking about the women?
Yeah, because I kind of put some more thought into this after that all came out, and then we've gotten reports that Bailey's not actually hurt, that it's just her getting pulled from Mania to make room for Becky, because that's evidently the rumor now is Lyra's going to team with Becky to face Liv and
That's
Raquel.
gotta be a shitty feeling for
It
Bailey.
is, but
I
if
would
you
say,
think,
Go
if
ahead.
you think about the storytelling that can come from it, we've had Lara versus Bailey, and they've been friendly for that Intercontinental title. Give me pissed off Bailey versus Lyra for that Intercontinental title now, and I'm all for it.
Well, and you can say too, you remember how Liv Morgan last year was saying that she retired Becky Lynch?
Yeah.
Becky slides in and said, I ain't retired now.
Well, fine. Before we get to the main
I
event,
really don't need to see. I really still don't need to see Lyra 2 belts and Becky 1 belt. Unfortunately, we're probably getting that, and so that's gonna
You think
suck.
so?
I mean, I don't see. I can't see Becky returning and Becky losing.
Lyra loses the title Monday.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Okay.
We'll have to do this. We'll have to wait to find out.
Yep.
No shit, Sherlock. All right. Before we get to the main event, one more thing. Who's facing Randy Orton?
Well, we know one thing. It's not Aleister Black, because he's going to be debuting on SmackDown next week.
Rusev Matcha.
So I got a lot of shit online a couple days ago.
I did see where CJ posted on Twitter that they were on a road trip.
Did she sign a Legends deal? Because I saw a report on that too.
Probably.
So I don't mind Rusev. Don't mind it at all. It's kind of like the Cody thing when he came back, in a way. I still want to see Nick Aldis in the ring.
Yes, that's who I wrote in too. I wrote him.
If we get Nick, I don't want to see Nick Aldis in the ring until we get Nick Aldis versus Adam Pearce. That's what I want.
And Adam Pearce said that's the only match he'd be up to do.
That is the only match I want to see. Because the amount of history that is among them two GMs, to have them make it to WrestleMania and their first matches be against each other, as a pure wrestling fan, more than just a WWE fan, that would be absolutely amazing. Especially with WWE's new kind of relationship going on with NWA.
Yeah.
you have Natty going to do the one tournament there.
Natty just did Bloodsport.
She did
Yeah,
Bloodsport
she
and
did.
got into the fight with Kinsey Page, who's NWA wrestler, in the crowd. I would absolutely love next year WrestleMania, especially in Louisiana next year. That's even more NWA country. Build a story from like Survivor Series on of Aldis and Pierce just getting on each other's nerves, and just give me Nick Aldis versus Adam Pierce at WrestleMania 42 in Louisiana, and hell, even make Billy Corbin the special guest referee for all I care. I would be all for that.
Can we say one thing that Natty and Mickey James brought the freaking attitude at Bloodsport on Friday? That shit was great.
Was Mickey's wasn't Bloodsport. Mickey's was the play, the wrestling show play, wasn't it?
Oh, I thought it was Bloodsport.
I didn't think she was on the Bloodsport card. I'll double check that. Yeah, there's a difference between Natalia and Natty Neihart, if you haven't noticed, and I think every WWE fan wants more Natty Neihart than Natalia.
That was great. I love that.
I hate to say this, but I think if we want Natty Neihart, that means Maxine's got to get destroyed, because I want just ferocious Natty just to destroy. Yeah, I enjoyed seeing that on Friday night. That was
good, man.
that
That's
was
just like,
amazing.
just give us that. Like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, Natalia's character for all these years, it's been good.
She's
It's
the
been
boat.
solid. She's devoted to it, but after what I saw on Friday, give me that, please.
She's the boat with the flotation devices, but
I'm
I'd
happy
love
she
to see
cured
more
that
of
gas
Natty.
problem.
Oh, that was,
Did
yeah.
you guys forget about that?
I did forget about
No,
that.
no,
I did.
I was just hoping people were not going to talk about it anymore.
All right, let's jump to the main event in
Oh yes, I was speaking of being right again.
Fight Me. Seth Rollins defeating Roman Reigns and CM Punk in a triple threat match. 32 minutes, 55 seconds.
Worth it.
4 balls were hit. I don't know if they will be found.
Got the grind to it.
He got the grind on that one. Cheese grater.
Did you miss that?
No, I saw it.
I said you have that look on your face like you don't know what we're talking about.
No, at the last one where he couldn't.
Yeah, he's like.
Ryan, you said you've called this. I feel like our whole group basically called this.
Yeah, but I've been calling it since before Elimination Chamber.
Right there.
Right
there.
Down where? Down here. Yeah, I've been calling this since what? I've been calling the triple threat since Royal Rumble, and then I've been calling Heyman joining Rollins since before Elimination Chamber.
Hey, Ryan,
I loved it.
It
made absolute sense.
I mean this in the nicest way possible.
I know, I'm the best.
No, I have to stop watching with you.
Okay.
The podcast doesn't help. You basically tell me what's gonna happen months in advance.
Didn't you give me props on something? Was it last night or was it today?
No, earlier, because you're like naming everybody from AAA, and I'm like,
yeah, that's for my job. I'm the guru. I remember things.
I just want to take credit tomorrow when Dom wins the IC title and him and Liv turn on Finn. Just saying, I've been saying that for months. So when that happens, I'll take my credit.
And I'm going to laugh when it goes half that way and it's Liv and Finn turn on Dom and you're like, oh, what the hell? And I'm going, I told you.
Yeah, Liv and Finn are going to turn on Dom.
I said, I've only been telling you that since before SummerSlam.
You have,
so, I mean,
you have.
But no.
This match was freaking nuts. It was personal.
Good choice of words. Good choice of words. Nuts. Nuts is the key word of the day. Yep. I didn't know you could crack nuts with a steel chair, but
we're gonna need to put AJ in the Nutcracker next for Christmas time.
No, I thought this match was great. The promo for Punk to start. I know it had a lot of people confused, like, oh no, now that they're doing all this, now I can't think Punk's gonna win. Nah, you were wrong. Seth being in the white and gold look again was kind of funny, as I talked about it, where Vince told him never to wear it again, and here he is wearing it again. It's going to be interesting to see how this Heyman Rollins relationship goes, especially if Becky's coming back. Is Becky going to come back tomorrow and then like slap the shit out of Lyra, and maybe she's going to take the IC title off of her and try to beat Bailey to be in the Grand Slam champion or whatever?
There you go. That's
there you
I
go.
mean,
I would be okay with that.
That's a possibility. Well, of course you would, because that means Liv and Raquel keep the tag titles.
Not just because of that. I'd
And
like to see
anything to
Becky as a
keep
heel.
anything to
Okay.
keep the Judgment Day winning.
I'd like to see
Mike's
Becky
all
as a
for,
heel.
as long
Okay.
as it's Liv and Dom. The hell with the rest of them.
Becky as a heel would be good with me. I'd like that.
Can you
have we
imagine
seen
Becky and
Becky as a
Seth
heel,
as the
or have we just seen Becky as a badass?
Did you see Becky and Seth as like the power trip couple of this generation?
Ooh.
With like Heyman in charge? That
Ooh.
would be weird.
Are you talking like Triple H and Stephanie? In
Yeah,
the
like
late
the
90s?
Helmsley McMahon era, but it's Rollins and Rollins.
What a callback,
You got a
though.
man's beast and a hose beast.
What a callback.
So I mean, that would be interesting to watch. You got Heyman bossing people around.
Or my favorite John Cena quote: "Lita's a slut." Just there.
Matt Hardy would
Everybody-
have probably appreciated
and
that.
everybody that was a young teenage fan at that time was like, "I wish she was."
I don't know. You could take those little straps that she had and probably go over her shoulders with.
Sir, that's called a thong.
I know. I was trying to. Thanks, Ryan.
I mean,
No,
we
no,
all
it's
we all
a
remember
thong.
the storyline of Mickey James and Trish Stratus. So, just
Yeah,
saying.
that happened at a time in my life where I had no clue that happened.
Hey, if you go back and watch that WrestleMania, it never happened.
That was a conversation I had the next morning with a couple people.
They edited that section out of that
Yes, they
WrestleMania
have.
match.
Yes, they
In
have.
case you guys in case you're watching and you don't know what we're talking about, Mickey James grabs Trish Stratus like a bowling ball.
Yep. And then licks her fingers afterwards.
She splits them and licks them.
Yep.
I was like, I'm at attention.
But as AJ's dying, but overall, the main event, that was worth it. That was great. Great storytelling, great drama, great wrestling. That had it all.
I think I said it a couple times, and I know people hate this word. That was pure cinema on how they went about everything.
Cinnamon, I'm allergic to cinnamon.
Is that Cena that said that?
No, it's The Rock, you dipshit. It's
Is it The
Game
Rock?
Plan.
Oh, that's right.
It doesn't matter.
Cinnamon, I'm allergic to cinnamon.
What are in these cookies?
By the way, just predictions for tomorrow night. Do we see the last bad guy of a video game? I don't want to say his nickname because it's annoying as hell. But you know, the last bad guy you have to beat in a video game is
those jackasses behind us.
Yeah, I still have nightmare flashes of that. But do you see him tomorrow?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Remember you asked about that whole thing about Randy Orton's opponent for WrestleMania tomorrow?
Yeah.
What if his opponent's Cody after he beat Cena?
You're gonna say that for after the main event?
What if the next person to join this group, so to speak, of people of the old age that doesn't really care for the new age is Randy Orton?
Oh, I see where you're going with it.
And
I see where he's going with this.
number 2 is Randy Orton.
Wouldn't number 1 be Randy Orton? 2 was Cena.
I saw a video where they talked about this one beforehand was the first member was for Cena, Then he does it again, and it's the second member, and it could be Orton.
That'd be interesting. But who would be 3 then? Because it's not Travis Scott, I can tell you that much.
Ted DiBiase Jr.
Seth Rollins? Paul Heyman?
Well, I know one thing: it's not Bautista, because nobody cares what the hell he's doing.
Yeah, I don't give a crap anymore.
Even though he says, "Oh, I miss wrestling." Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have you seen him? He's not in ring shape anymore.
No.
All right, he could be on 205 Live.
He can be on the next Evolve episode.
Wrestling ability, he would be on Evolve.
But no, that triple threat match to close out
it was
night
bad
one.
with John Cena and 5 moves of doom. D. Batista and his 3.5 moves of doom. And half of that move was doing the thumbs down thing.
So with night one, and Ryan, you kind of alluded to it earlier, it's a B plus match or higher for the whole
Yes.
show.
Yes.
Mike, where would you kind of put this?
Probably B minus. It's
Across the board?
across the board. It's
Let me
it
ask you
wasn't.
this.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you this question, because I was thinking about this, and I guess kind of more of a biased opinion, seeing as I was there. And as of Wednesday of this week, I had finally watched the whole show on Peacock.
About flipping time.
But was the crowd and everything in the build to this WrestleMania such a
It felt like a chore.
I was
don't
gonna
wanna say chore. Was the build to this WrestleMania so lackluster? I guess is the word I want to use.
I
And
would.
then the way the crowd was such a lackluster because of how great the story was for WrestleMania last year.
I would agree because of the what moments that we had in that build up to WrestleMania 40. You think about the Monday before, what happened
Well, you think
then.
about the Super Bowl
Mm-hmm.
thing where this is bullshit.
You think about the night. You think about the.
here.
You think about the night in Chicago, how that went off the air.
Yeah.
I mean, that was.
I got more of that feeling tonight when we were watching this WrestleMania that I'm like, the one thing that this Mania is missing, and it's not missing it because like it desperately needs it. It's just because last year's build was so fantastic, and I think that's why in most countdown things now, WrestleMania 40 instantly falls into that number one slot of best WrestleManias ever, because the build to the two main events were all that pay-per-view need, that all that is all that WrestleMania needed.
I mean, you kind of have that here too, though.
Do you? Because the build for the triple threat match hasn't been that great.
I even think the Cena Rhodes build up. That's been. I mean, it's been good at parts, but other parts it's been okay.
Yeah. And the one thing I don't think that they took advantage of more that they should have, that they did last year, is they didn't take advantage of social media to get their point across at all this year
No.
for WrestleMania. Like the build between Rock and Cena, if you think about it, Cody Crybabies, like they used social media to get their points across. John Cena either showed up at Raw or you heard absolutely nothing from him.
Well, and he didn't do anything at Raw either. He just cut a promo, and it's like he didn't do what The Rock did last year and beat Cody Rhodes' ass. It's just like he didn't do anything.
Nothing.
He got hit with the crossroads twice. That was it.
Ernest meets the crossroad. But I don't know. I think that's the bad. It's not so much. I guess it's more of like the hangover of WrestleMania 40, in a way, because it's like this matches have been great. The build to this pay-per-view has sucked because just how great the build was the last year's WrestleMania.
Well, I even told AJ, I said Monday, Raw on Monday going into Mania. I mean, it was solid. Don't get me wrong, but I was expecting more, and I would even argue SmackDown last night. I was kind of expecting a little more.
I've come to the conclusion now that they need to make it where the Friday before WrestleMania weekend starts is just the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. There's no need for anything else. Put the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal back on the pre-show on Saturday or on Sunday pre-show for all I care. But Friday night on SmackDown should just be the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. That is entirely too much stuff to do on a Friday night. The Hall of Fame didn't finish till 20 after 4 here, and it started at 1 o'clock. Granted, it was fantastic. One of the best Hall of Fame induction ceremonies I've ever watched. But there's no reason that I should have to stay up till 20 after 1 or 20 after 4 to watch the Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Paul
Oh,
Heyman last year or Triple H this year?
I was gonna say
Triple H this year, but it was better.
I was gonna say I saw a lot of people on Twitter that took pictures of the wrestlers last night. And a few of them passed out during.
Well, I mean, think about it for those guys. Those guys probably had autograph signings at 9 yesterday morning, doing media all day long, hadn't had a break. You sit down for a couple hours and you listen to stories, you doze off. Also, some of those photos just happen to be like the perfect shot of somebody like blinking. Like the one of Becky Lynch just looks like she's blinking.
Yeah,
and it's one of those ones where you take like 75,000 shots at one time, and it's like, I'm gonna post this one.
Well, Jey Uso, I mean, with the sunglasses, you know he was out.
There's one with Solo, and he's like, but I was thinking about that, and I just wanted to get your guys' opinion on it. I feel like that this WrestleMania is not bad, but it's more of a hangover from how good last year's was, that they didn't come right back with that kind of storytelling building to this WrestleMania.
Now, go ahead, AJ.
What I was going to ask is, with how good last year's WrestleMania was compared to this year, and how we hit a downslope after WrestleMania, like we always do every year, but depending on how that WrestleMania is, I feel determines how big that down section is.
Yeah, but I'm wondering,
is this one going to
year,
be worse?
I'm wondering with this year if they're going to make sure they try to keep the ball rolling, considering SummerSlam's 2 nights this year. You're not just building to a one-night SummerSlam where you just have to build 4 or 5 matches and be done with. Now you're building the SummerSlam where you're putting 2 nights of at least probably the same amount, probably putting at least 6 to 7 matches out both nights.
And that's where my question was going to be, kind of in a sense to that. But my question was going to be, does this scare you going into WrestleMania 42 in a year in New Orleans?
No, because I think this is the reset year, if that makes sense. This is the year for everything to kind of reset itself back. The Bloodline stories not really existing at the moment. You're going to think some of the Bloodline stuff is going to pick up with Heyman joining Rollins. You never know who he may side with to help with.
Keep going for another 5 or so minutes. I have to go let the dog out real fast because Jessica's sleeping. So just keep going. So you stop talking.
So like, I feel like that's a thing where this is kind of that reset cycle type spot or year. I feel like they'll get a better idea when they start building the SummerSlam. Survivor Series is still only one show. Rumble's still only one show. Neither one of them shows need to be a 2-night show.
No, I agree.
I like that they give the Rumble plenty of time after like all the entrants are in, and they're not trying to rush to the finish like they used to do on the card. So I like that there's 2 Rumble matches in the same night. I think the one thing that they're definitely learning is WrestleMania has to be either the end of March, beginning of April. This extra 3 weeks did not help them in any way, shape, or form. Again, I think this was a Vegas thing because I know Vegas wanted to fill their gap of Easter being a down weekend, and it proves that it's still a down weekend because the ones that are there are sitting on their hands. So,
Well, and they don't have the Stanley Cup playoffs beginning yet because Vegas hasn't. I think Vegas Gold Knights' first match is Monday. So I
okay.
mean, no, it can't
Yeah.
be Monday. What am I talking about? Because Raw's there at T-Mobile on Monday, so it'd be Tuesday.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's my thought on it. I feel like this is kind of that reset year. But
Yeah,
you can't have an absolute down year and just say the hell with it. We're just gonna reset this year. You still got to put something out, and I mean, it's a solid card.
and I mean, who knows? I mean, we could all sit down night two tomorrow night and just blow night one out of the water. Night two could do that.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you're gonna get more action. You're gonna get a little bit more action tomorrow night. You're gonna get a lot more multi-man matches tomorrow night. You're getting the Fatal 4-Way. You're getting a triple threat. You're getting a women's tag match. You're getting a street fight.
You get
Um,
a women's triple threat, and you got your main event, and then
yeah.
whatever Randy does.
So there's plenty of action to be had. It'll just be interesting to see the shake up, the draft, whatever you want to call it, after Mania will kind of help because some of the feuds are getting very stale. Some of them, that mid card area on both shows is getting kind of complacent.
Mm-hmm.
Is the word I want to use. So to be able to kind of mix that up and get some different bodies on some different shows will be helpful. I think you can get LA Knight on Raw and have him with Jay with the world title picture, helping him against Seth or whatever for a bit would be pretty interesting. Um, and then eventually getting that shot. I could also see LA Knight taking on Dom for the IC title would be fun for me to watch as well.
My,
Um,
I was gonna say with Alexa Bliss's huge return at the Royal Rumble and the pop that she got, and only wrestling at the Chamber, and losing to Liv Morgan, I just don't know what they're gonna do with her because I'm very surprised she's
well,
not.
here's the thing you got to think of, and this is the part that nobody else is thinking about. Who pulled her off the road? Did WWE pull her off the road, or did she pull herself off the road because maybe she ain't ready to go back? Maybe she didn't feel comfortable yet being there for her return. She showed up for Elimination Chamber and she wrestled what, 1 maybe 2 weeks on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't doing any house shows. She was just at TV. Maybe she felt she wasn't ready yet. Maybe it was Bo Dallas that was hurt for the Wyatt family.
Mm-hmm.
There's no I keep seeing people going, well, one of them got hurt and you haven't seen any of them. Well, what's the point of bringing all of them on TV if the leader guy's not there? Nothing.
Yeah.
You're sending them out there with no lead. It's like basically a chicken with his head cut off. Wait till they'll be perfectly fine waiting on Bo to get healed. Wait for Bo to get healed, and then maybe who knows? Maybe the Alexa thing, that's what Alexa's waiting on. Let me know when Bo's ready, and we'll go through with what needs to be done.
I did see a report this week that I guess it's now. I'm assuming it's scrapped now, but it was supposed to be Chelsea Green was supposed to do a open contest or open invitation thing like John Cena used to do. Open challenge. There it is. Open challenge, and it was either going to be Alexa Bliss or Nikki Bella.
I kind of had her penciled in to be Lyra's partner until everybody started talking about Becky, because you had the live Alexa thing going on from Elimination Chamber.
Uh huh. And then it doesn't also help that argument too that Becky was at the Hall of Fame last night, which I mean, it's not surprising. She would have been there anyway, but then she's posting stuff backstage today, or WWE's posting backstage stuff today. So it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And you also have her doing some kind of improv thing where she said, "It's WrestleMania season. Oh, don't worry, I'm not wrestling anymore."
Mm-hmm.
And then she's gonna show up and wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you got Logan on TikTok. He goes, "Y'all think Triple H and Shawn Michaels use tongue when they're not in public?"
Oh gosh.
If you get a chance, I know AJ, you said you watched that back this morning. I've been a huge Triple H fan for a very, very, very long time. When he says he is the game, he is the game. He is a student of the game. To watch his induction ceremony and getting that little bit of Triple H that we never get was very, very inspiring last night. I was taken aback by it a good bit. Um, Plus, like, the click to me is just it's the click is my feel good. I love hearing those guys tell stories. I could listen to Kevin Nash read a phone book. I could care less what his political views on things are. He's one of the guys that I can make that exception for. But to hear Kevin Nash tell stories about the business, I could listen to it all day long. So me as a fan, I can take myself and like if you could go if you had 4 hours to just go somewhere, where would you go? And it's like I would be in the middle of that van sitting there listening to all those guys talk about the business. And that would be one of the coolest experiences in my entire life because I can only imagine what it is. I kind of laughed because I knew about the Scott Hall story beforehand, and I was watching it with TJ, and I said, "Yeah, TJ, pay attention. This was pretty funny." Because I had heard the stories about Scott getting in the van and basically saying, "Can we just not talk about wrestling today?" And everybody would be like, "Oh yeah, sure, fine." No, no, no. And then like Scott would be like, "Hey man, in your match, you screwed this up," and it's like now we're right back into the business thing, and I thought that was so great. Um, to see Lex Luger get inducted was really cool for me. I was always a Lex Luger fan. Evidently they had planned a little bit more of him walking. He was gonna walk a little farther to get to the stage or up to the podium instead of just standing at the podium. But he suffered a fall at the airport in Atlanta, so they were kind of being precautious with his legs and everything. That's why he didn't walk. I did see, and you can ask TJ about this tomorrow when he's here for the or the review show, because he started laughing just because of how excited I was. They did a pan of the crowd, and I spotted two tag teams from the 80s, early 90s that had me so excited that they were there. That gave me all kinds of bunch of hope for 42. And that was Demolition and the Powers of Pain were in the crowd for the Hall of Fame ceremony, sitting next to each other right behind the click. And when I I had TJ pause it, rewind it twice so I could make sure it was them. And I got so excited, and I'm like, yes, maybe next year is the year that Demolition finally goes into the Hall of Fame. And I will definitely try my best to get there. I will get there to watch Demolition go in the Hall of Fame.
That was one of the coolest moments of WrestleMania 4. And I know we've had this conversation here. You've been watching since probably birth. I got in right around 03, 04. But watching you go around WrestleCon last year like a kid in a candy store was one of the coolest things in the freaking world. And then you get to Demolition, and oh, you guys were my favorite. I like those guys too. And then their comeback with, yeah, we like them too. And I was like, shit.
They're not here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Like he used past tense.
Yeah, and then Barry Darso was talking about my Notre Dame hat, and I was trying to see if he was actually ribbing me or not, so I didn't really know how to answer him. But
I
yeah,
mean,
that's one of my favorite autographs I have up there. Is my Demolition autograph. The those guys were my favorite WWF tag team when I was a kid for a very, very long time. And to meet them guys last year at WrestleCon, and then now know they have a Legends deal, which I never thought was going to happen the way they talk. Now that they have a Legends deal, I'm hoping and praying that next year for WrestleMania, they go into the Hall of Fame. And if they go into the Hall of Fame, I am going to WrestleMania 42.
do they
With
take
you,
card?
with you or without you, I will be at WrestleMania 42.
Dude, I have a youngling.
If Indianapolis gets WrestleMania here in the next few years, I will be going.
I think
I, I got a
I,
youngling coming, so
I think I decided this weekend that WrestleMania needs to be like it can't be an every year thing because it's just too much. But every other year, I'd be just fine with it.
I
And then
mean,
every year that's not a WrestleMania year can be a SummerSlam year.
Ryan,
Yeah.
what you could do is you could apply for a media pass and see if you get accepted.
Yeah, you could do that. That's a good point.
Mhm.
Because that's how I get into con.
You can make me pay for everything and you can get media pass.
Well, I was gonna say, what about doing like a live Wrestling with Nerds podcast, like at the World or
I
something?
wouldn't be going, it'd be for you.
I know. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
You got all year. But that's night one, everybody.
But
Back same.
I got lost on French Street. I don't know where I am.
Do
If you
you
knew,
say? Do you sell beignets here?
I'm gonna eat a lot of them.
I was gonna say if it was Bourbon
Thump,
Street, you'd
thump,
have a good time.
thump, thump. Be like Kirby, just.
When did you come? I came for the beignet and the beaches. Ooh, this is Wrestling with
He's
Nerds After Dark.
Oh shit! I
It's
can't tell
after
if I'm
midnight.
overtired or drunk.
maybe a tad bit of both.
Well, how early did you get up this morning?
Just had to be at work for 6.
Well, you went to bed early too because you're old.
Yes, yes, I did.
Yeah. I didn't go to bed till 4:30 and got up at 9. But then worked on the whole night before. By the way, I have to give a shout out to your sponsor. If it wasn't for Dubby, I would not have made it
Oh,
through this past week.
I was like,
He's like,
Nerds
what
doesn't have a
sponsor?
sponsor.
If I have to thank your own sponsor there, your own personal sponsor, Dubby. I bought my Power Punch stuff with your promo code of AS15 TV. You know what it is?
AS15 TV.
Yeah. Whatever. Who cares?
It gave me
But
10%. I don't care.
but if I didn't have it, I wouldn't have made it through this week.
Really, that powerful, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty good stuff.
What is it, like Popeye for you?
You know, if
Sir,
you
I'm
give
pretty
me
sure
a
that's a stroke.
you know, if you give me a burger on Tuesday, I'll gladly pay for it next Thursday.
Is that another wrestling?
No, it's the guy off of Popeye, you dork.
Oh,
Do we need to do Popeye watch-alongs?
I've seen the cartoon. I've never seen the one with Robin Williams.
It's in the cartoon too, my guy.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's in
well.
the cartoon.
You know, right here.
But down where? Down here.
My mother would tell you to suck it. Just give her a second.
Or you can just do what Mickey James did last night. You can do it that way too.
Oh,
Wait, you said your mother?
no, what Triple H said at the Hall of Fame
Oh
ceremony
yeah.
about his mom.
You could tell that he gets the beak genetically.
His youngest daughter's got it too.
His
Tony.
dad's got a huge schnozzle. And then he got presented that statue, and he's like, they made the nose bigger than what it really is. I don't know how that's possible. Those were
Owen
the
Hart got it
things.
right.
They were the things from our WrestleMania that they didn't have that I wish that was there. They didn't have the bronze statues.
No.
I
didn't.
wish they would have had them because I want to see the Andre and the Dusty one so bad. And if you tell me, oh, I've seen the Andre one because I've been to the building itself, I'm gonna
I haven't seen
give
any
you
of
a
them.
noogie. Because I know the Andre one was in the front lobby or whatever of the old building for a long time.
I'd love to go into the new headquarters right in the front door and just see
the 100-foot tall Andre.
Maybe the Giant.
Could you
Oh my
imagine if
God.
that 100-foot Andre just let one rip?
Well, it seems like we got Chris Jericho in the TikTok chat now. Stand and Deliver is better than Night 1.
Y2J, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm curious.
Yo,
Is that because nobody knows where Jericho's going?
Oh, he's going on a Fozzy tour, number 1.
I just saw this, but somebody pointed
Oh.
this out on Twitter. Karrion Kross is responsible for another heel turn because there's a picture of him standing behind Seth Rollins a couple weeks ago.
Oh, jeez.
Did you catch his interview on the red carpet?
No.
Oh,
I
it
saw
was
him
great.
at GCW.
I saw that interview this
Apparently,
morning.
he crossed paths with AJ Styles, and he thought it was set up on purpose.
Oh, yes, he did.
And went off and even made mention. He's like, I don't know if it was you guys that put us up to this or if it was production that put us up to it, but I'm not happy about it.
Hey, he said he wanted to beat Peter Roseberg's ass too. He's
Yeah,
like, I
he
ain't
was
joking.
pissed. He's like, I ain't joking. I'm in a bad mood. But yeah, he made comment of like, I don't know who put who up to this, but yeah, no, it's not good. I'm not happy. And I was like, damn.
Like
But I love me
kayfabe?
some Karrion Kross, so.
I
Hey,
don't know.
WWE 2K25 has joined.
I don't know if it was kayfabe or not, but I mean, he was pissed. That's what I saw this morning on the highlight.
Yeah, if I find the video, I'll send it to you. It was
Yeah.
pretty intense.
Well, this has been fun. I kind of do agree. Stand and Deliver, I feel, the last couple years has been better than Night 1 of WrestleMania.
Yeah, I want to go back and watch the kiss on the ladder. That didn't happen.
Who knows with how AI is going? That might be an actual thing in a couple weeks. So
Weeks. I give it a couple more hours and it'll be there. It'll definitely be there before Tuesday.
I made AJ die on that one.
Have you seen their TikTok videos together?
Ryan, you send them to me.
I know. I don't have Mike on there to send them to him, or I'd send them to him. But I see them and I'm like, oh, AJ needs to see this send.
I can just picture it.
It's really easy because like it knows I want to send it to him because it'll say at the bottom, it's like, do you want to send this to nerds? It's like, yes. Click. It's just right there. It's like my cousin. I'm like, I don't mean to send you things early in the morning because I'm up and you're sleeping. He goes, oh no, I got notifications turned off on that. I was like, that's probably a bad thing to tell me because I'm gonna start sending you a bunch of clips.
So, as much as you send me, you're not as bad as my wife. Like, I will go to work and I don't check
So you're
TikTok
saying-
while I'm at
So just in case your wife's watching, you're saying your wife's bad?
If
Might wanna
I
watch
have
this.
over 20 TikToks to watch in a couple hours span, go touch grass?
Why
Oh.
do that when I can do it? I can touch the AI grass.
I felt a disturbance in the force after saying that.
All of a sudden, you're just gonna hear boom, boom, boom. Oh shit!
No, I'm waiting for a lightsaber to
It's
ignite
like
behind
you're-
me and just my
it's-
head to just fall off.
It's like you feel that the large Marge is on her way.
AJ's gonna be turning around. Master Skywalker, there are too many of them. What are we going to do? And then all of a sudden,
So you hear the footsteps you can see the footsteps under the door up the steps and you're like, ah.
I
And
didn't
like,
do it.
it doesn't even open. She doesn't even open it. The door just opens itself. And it has like the fog and the lights and everything
Oh,
of like,
nope,
oh
I'm
no,
out.
here it comes.
I'm out the door. See ya.
She doesn't even walk down the steps. She just slides down the steps.
And just out of nowhere, just snap and just head poof.
Guys, we need a new director, producer, guy in charge here at Wrestling with Nerds.
He didn't make it. He didn't make it until dawn, like the movie says.
I'm so mad about that movie. It looks fine.
It's not like the video game.
Okay, but the game concept is cool. This just looks like a, let's use the name.
Boo. Scary movie. Boo.
I do want to go see Sinners, though. That's besides the point. We're off
besides
topic.
the point.
Let's close up. We got night 2 tomorrow night.
That is a really bad CM Punk.
Huh?
I said that's a really bad CM Punk drawing.
I know it's a really bad. I know it's a bad one.
It's a very cool. Like the whole thing was really cool background, and then you moved, and I saw the face, and I'm like, "That's not CM Punk."
I know. That's why I'm trying to stay in the middle. So
that looks like one of those people that trumped the ports.
We've gone off the rails, and it's 12:45 Eastern time.
Ryan.
Sorry, it's what came to mind.
Ryan.
Let's just call it punch drunk.
Oh.
What the fuck?
Your last episode of Wrestling with Nerds has been brought to you by.
Guys, you remember last year's WrestleMania? We were on Cloud 9. This year's WrestleMania, we're being deported to El Salvador.
Gates of hell.
By the way, I was really happy to see that you had the pictures with the belt, and you still had the side plates that I put on.
Yeah, they're not coming off.
I still have mine. I just don't have a belt to put them on.
My brother-in-law actually
Nobody will
edited
buy me
those
a belt.
photos, by the way, and I think they came out pretty sweet.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, let's wrap this up before I get us deported.
Bye, everybody. Tomorrow night,
Hey,
11 o'clock.
hasta luego.
Join us,
11:30.
TJ.
Oh,
TJ
God.
will be here tomorrow night. He has already confirmed it.
You guys are dicks. Bye. Thanks for tuning in. Hit that like button, subscribe, follow. Shut up, Ryan.
That was funny. I don't care what you say.